Good morning, Torah Terumah, page 158. There's only one mimer here for Terumah, so we'll learn it. Okay, the pasuk says, "Mi'itencha ka'achli." Okay, the pasuk says, "Mi'itencha ka'achli." If you only give me to be like my brother. Zel bakashas knesses salakadosh baruch hu zman golus. This is the request that the Yidden have to Hashem in the time of golus. Shebizman Beis Hamikdash Hayakayim in the time of the Beis Hamikdash when Hashem was revealed. Nikri Yisrael Achim Lamokim. The Jews were called brothers to Hashem, meaning because they had this real close relationship. Like it says, L'man Achai V'Royai. In time of, in order for my brother, my friend, Uksiv Achakach L'man Beis Hashem Elokeinu. In L'man Beis Hashem Elokeinu Kolema Emos in Nikra Achim. When are we called brothers? Bizman Beis Hamikdash Kayim in the time of the Beis Hamikdash. Because the pasuk says, L'man Acha V'Royai, L'man Beis Hashem Elokeinu. So therefore the Medrash says, when are we called Achim to Hashem? When is the time of the Beis Hamikdash. Mashenkin, at the time of Golus, when there's a level of not feeling Alukus, so then we're not on the level of brothers. Now, therefore, the Yidden ask now, can you now, we're asking Hashem, can you be like a brother to us now also? For in the Kruvim, show you Beis Hamikdash, the Kruvim on top of the Aron. In English it's called the Cherubim, I believe. It says, they look towards each other. The pasuk says, in fact in today's Chitas, you should make two Kruvim. Kruv echad mikatza mizeh. One Kruv on this side, one Kruv on this side, facing each other. What's the whole concept of Kruvim? Yovin al pi ma'amar mazal. Hainu pnei Kruv, hainu pnei Adam. It says like this: the Kruvim look like babies. There's a big face and there's a little face. Okay? So what is the Inyan of Kruvim? Images of people, one big face, one little face. It says in the Pasuk in Yecheskel, on the throne of Elokus is a vision of a person. How can you say there's a person on top of the throne of the Merkava when Hashem doesn't have any images? So what does it mean b'chlal? This whole concept of Adam and big faces and little faces and so on. The Inyan is like this: Shatayda nikras Adam. Tayda is called Adam. Why? Like it says, Zay Satayda Adam. The pasuk says at the beginning of Chukah, Zay Satayda Adam ki yomaz ba'el. This simply means these are the dinim. If a guy dies in a tent, the various laws of Tumah. But the pasuk says Zay Satayda Adam, meaning Adam is called Tayda. Siv Zay Satayda sa Adam. What does it mean? What do you mean that Tayda is called Adam? It says, it says in the Medrash, all of Torah are the names, every word in Torah is the name of Hashem. Or B'Zeir Nikra as the Sfiras. In Zeir it's called, the 10 Sfiras are called Razad L'Shmei Kadisha, the secret of the holy name. In other words, Torah is the names of Hashem, and the Adam is the names of Hashem, the 10 Sfiras. A name like Avraham or Yaakov, the name somebody has Avraham, he doesn't say Yitzchak, interesting, he says Avraham and Yaakov. He doesn't, the name has nothing to do with the essence of the person. What is the essence of the person? Seichel and Midas Shalei. Okay? The Seichel and the Midas. That exists if the person doesn't have a name. A name is not needed when you're all by yourself. A name is only the external level of the person. That through a name you're identified, either somebody calls you, you come to them, or somebody can identify you from a crowd. So name has nothing to do with the essence of the person. If you're all alone, you don't need a name. What is the purpose of a name? The way you interact with others. Either they call you and you reply, or to call and speak about you, to identify somebody else. So therefore, name has nothing to do with the essence of the person. Therefore, therefore, when you speak about the Zohar, says that the 10 Sfiras are the 10 names of Hashem. That means it has no connection at all to the essence of the person. Just like a name, a person's name, has nothing to do with its essence, then the 10 Sfiras of Atzilus, whatever, which are the names of Hashem, the Zohar says, they have nothing to do with the essence of Hashem. The essence of Hashem is infinitely greater than the level of Chochmah. Which is Radish Kadisha, is only Ha'ara Ba'alma Shen in the Gelat, is only a slight external revelation. What?
On one hand, we are told it is very important the name is the source of growing the light and where the light, the energy of the person comes from. Now you are teaching us that name is not important.
First of all, my purpose is to mix people up and confuse them. That's my purpose. Or, as other people say, a lot of rabbis, the purpose is to make people's life miserable. You can't do this, you can't do that. That's my purpose. So it's not bad. Secondly, it's not at all a contradiction. The name of the person, and like everything, Malchus is the lowest, but nevertheless, it's connected to the essence. But it's the lowest. A name of a person has nothing to do with the essence of the person. Again, you yourself, if all by yourself, you don't need a name. Nevertheless, even though name is lower in that respect, but only through the name do you get the entire person. You get the essence. In other words, Chassidus explains like this. There's Or, which is light, and there's name, Shem. Both are revelations of the person. Okay? Like a mayor, through the name of a person, would see the personality of a person. When Moshe Rabbeinu asked Hashem at the burning bush, what's your name? So the pasuk says, he said, Yasher. But the Medrash says that Hashem said to Moshe Rabbeinu, you want to know my name? It depends what I do. When I do chesed, I'm called Kel. When I do punishment, I'm called Elokim. Again, what is that referring to? The way Hashem is identifying with world. When Hashem identifies with world, so then Hashem has a name. Because again, name is not me yourself, the way I identify with you. You want to call me, talk about me. So how am I have a relationship to you, so to speak? It's through a name. So name is really not the person. You can't, if I know your name, I don't know who you are. Light, sunlight on the other hand, when you look outside right now, I don't see the sun, but I know it's sunlight. Right? I don't see the sun. The sun's all the way up there. I see sunlight. That means light reveals what the source is. When you see light, you know what the source is. A name, you don't know what your source is. Okay? So Or has an advantage that you know the source. It reveals the source. Name doesn't. Correct? But only through a name do you get the essence. Light doesn't get you the essence. Light reveals the essence, but it doesn't get you the essence. I don't get the sun by the light. I only get the light, not the sun. Name, if you call the person, like we said, they're not teenagers, they come to you. So you can draw the essence. So there's an advantage of light and there's an advantage of name. So from one side, name is lower than light. It doesn't reveal the source. From the opposite side, though, a name gets you the essence and light doesn't. So when you say name is the lowest, yet the whole, again, what's the name? The way the neshama identifies with the body. The name is of the neshama, right? That's why the parents have a prophecy that they see what is the lifeline from the neshama to the body. That's in the name. If your name is Yaakov and his name is Avram, so your neshama's connection to the body is through the letters Yud, Ayin, Kuv, Beis. Is Aleph, Beis, Resh, Hey, Mem. This is whatever the letters may be. So Shem, name, is the connection between the neshama and the body. That means the neshama functions in the body through the name. But it's not the essence of the person. It's not a contradiction. It's not the person, but it gets the person. So he says, Kach l'gabi ein tzal baruch, the same thing by Hashem. Afilu chochmi love ein tzarech mid ein erech klal musi v'atzmusi yisbarach. There's no connection whatsoever to Hashem. Shemahosi v'atzmusi yisbarach merum misnasim migeder b'chinas chochmi v'savas. It's infinitely greater than creation. Like it says, as the Sfiris is called the Rosa Dishmekad, which is only a Ha'ara Ba'alma Shenigel Atmos. Well, the 10 Sfiris, the 10 Sfiris, even by a person, the 10 powers of the soul, is a limited form of the soul, the way the soul is functioning in the body, or the way Elokus is functioning in creation. Hashem created the world with 10 utterances, because there's 10 Sfiris, the way Hashem interacts with the world. It says, Havaya b'chochma yosedet. So the pasuk says, Hashem Yud Kei Vav Kei is in chochma. What does that mean? Shagili ha'arazu sheb'chinas shem Havaya. This revelation of Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is Ani Havaya Hu Shmi. Hashem says, Yud Kei Vav Kei is my name. That's the level of chochma. Vayidei ha'chochma nimshach erin savut b'baruch hu b'chol ha'tesfiris k'mei shekos v'atam b'tanyin perak lamidei and dago. L'chein nikra chochma Adam. Therefore, chochma is called Adam. Why? Just like chochma, now the Rebbe says in Tanya, is the beginning of where the soul reveals itself in the body, and that is the level of Shmi. So therefore, Yud Kei Vav Kei, meaning the way Hashem is a creator, Yud Kei Vav Kei means Mahava, a name of Hashem. It's still a name. It's not Anechi, it's not Ata. So that name is called Adam. Nikra Adam Erishin is called Adam Erishin, like it says in the Zohar, Nikra Adam Kadma. The first person, Kireishis Chachma Ksiv. Okay, because Chachma begins because Chachma is the beginning of the Sfiras. But that's not the essence of Elokus. That's why Elokus is already dealing Havaya b'Chachma. The way Havaya comes into the level of Chachma. But that's a name. Why is Havaya in the level of Chachma? Because Havaya is the essential name of Hashem, unlike Elokim and all the others. And Chochmah is a level of bittul, complete bittul. So therefore, which level of the person can the name Yud Kei Vav Kei reveal itself, the name reveal itself in the level of bittul?
Chochmah is so high.
But it's one of the 10 Sfiras.
How come it cannot affect that?
Huh?
Can Chochmah affect that?
If you have no Chochmah, you don't have any Das. In order to have Das, you need Chochmah and Bina, and then you apply yourself to the subject matter, then you have Das. Das of what? If you have no Seichel, if you have Chochmah and Bina, what are you dasing? Can you have Das without Chochmah and Bina? No. What is Das? Das is binding the Chochmah and Bina to the becoming one with it.
Correct, but can it affect it?
Can it affect Das?
Yes. I'm asking a different, I know it's a link between Midot and Chochmah.
No.
Can it affect that?
Can Chochmah affect that? What does that mean? Explain.
Where is that coming from?
Where does Chochmah come? Where does Chochmah come from? Okay. By the way, even the Shamas Zera Behema are also have Das to some extent. You become bar mitzvah because you have a little bit of Das, but not Das in Elokus. Moshe Rabbeinu feeds Das of Emunah higher than Seichel.
So the seichel cannot affect it because it's coming from higher.
Chochmah Seichel cannot affect what?
That Moshe Rabbeinu is putting within us.
Sometimes, if anything, Seichel gets in the way of Das. You can't bind yourself to Elokus if you're full of yourself. That's it, man. Okay. It's like the marshal of the manifestation and spreading out of the chayis of the neshama in the body. The initial life of the neshama that comes into the body, yeah? That's meir umislabish b'meichen shebirash. First comes into the head. Where does the neshama come into? Al Rebbe says this in Tanya at the end of the Kutamar. The level of the neshama in the body comes into the level of Chochmah. And from Chochmah it spreads out all over the body. Then through Meichen comes the limb, the revelation to all limbs. Based on the level, meaning like this. The neshama's revelation in the body, its home, so to speak, its seat is in the brain. Then from there it spreads out that the eyes see and the hands write and the foot walks and the heart pumps blood. It starts in the head and then it spreads itself out to the rest of the keichet. I'm talking about the neshama, the nefshulikis. Starts in the head and then it spreads itself out to all the keiches. So therefore, Seichel, Chochmah, is the general life of the person, dresses itself into Chochmah. And then from Chochmah, it goes into the rest of the body. Just like it is like that, the neshama in the body, that this revelation of Elokus into worlds nimshach mislabish b'chochmah. Vayidei chochmah nimshach mislabish b'chol tasfiras. Okay, so in other words, like this: just like by a person, the neshama reveals itself in the seich, in the chochmah, and then from there goes to the body. Hashem in the world reveals Himself in chochmah first, which is, by the way, Torah. Which is the concept of Adam. Adam represents Chochmah. So therefore, he asked before, why is Torah called Zeisa Torah Adam? Why is Torah called Adam? Because Torah is the place where Hashem reveals Himself, and where does the Neshama reveal itself? And the person is in the level of Chochmah. Okay. Therefore, Torah, which is the level of Chochmah, is called Adam. And therefore, skip the parentheses. Torah is bound with Hashem. Why? Because Torah is where the place that Hashem dresses Himself into. By the way, this level of Torah is not the essence of Torah. Just like the 10 spheres are not the essence of Hashem. They're the names of Hashem. The way Hashem deals with world. When Hashem in Torah comes into the level of Chochmah Torah, Torah which is Chochmah, then Elokus becomes one with Torah. Right? In Torah, which is higher than Chokhmah, then there's no, it's one. Yes, sir. Hine b'chinas Adam zeh is called Adam Agod, the great man, and the big level of the big face, ki chokhmah la is a b'chinas ein sof. Like it says, Ulis Funah say ein cheka. There's no end to Hashem's wisdom. Okay, so he says like this. Torah is called the big face of Hashem. Because Torah is where Hashem is revealing himself initially in the world in Torah. So that's the big level of Elokus. And therefore it's called, remember he said before, there's the big face and the little face. On the Aron, which represents Torah, what was in the Aron? The Luchas. And top of the Luchas were the Keruvim, which had the faces. Yeah? Big face, little face, male, female, the various different things of the Keruvim. So, where did Hashem speak to Moshe Rabbeinu? Mibein Shnei HaKeruvim. But that's the way Elokus is already coming down to speak to Moshe Rabbeinu. The way Elokus is coming into the Aron, which is the level of Torah. That's that level of Elokus. But he says, that's Torah the way it is in Chokhmah Vatzilis. To come into Bria, which is our Torah, because the Talmud is Bria, Gemara is Bria, then it has to be Ayidei Tzimtzum. Because obviously in Atzilis, which is Eitzel, Batel, Tashem, it's Elokus, so Hashem can have a great revelation. Now it has to come into Bria. So remember we learned you need a parsa, you need the curtain that separates the two, you need the level of Tzimtzum. And therefore, what does the pasuk say? The Gemara says when Hashem spoke to Moshe Rabbeinu through the two Keruvim, Mibein Shnei HaKeruvim. Okay, so what does that mean? Obviously, it's not physical. Hashem had to limit himself in the space, spiritually speaking, between the two Keruvim. He had to limit himself, because when did he speak from between the two Keruvim? That means the voice, which is so infinite, now in order to come down into Moshe Rabbeinu, into the world, it had to have a tzimtzum. So then it becomes what's called the small face, because now it's a greater limitation. What?
But Hashem talked to Moshe Rabbeinu before the Keruvim.
Yeah.
So how come all of a sudden?
But once he made the Keruvim, that's where he spoke to him from. Because in order to have the Shekhinah in the world, it had to be a Migdash, Mishkan, to hold the Shekhinah. But then had to limit it, but only by limiting it in the Mishkan do you have the revelation. If you don't limit it, you don't have any. Like we said, you could be by Niagara Falls. You have 1,000,000 gallons of water. If you don't have a cup, you're not going to get a drink. What?
Rabbi, you said that everything has to go through Moshe.
Yeah.
So we have two Keruvim here. We have the Kohen. There is no Moshe. And Hashem is talking to
Hashem's Hamshach, who did he speak to? To Moshe Rabbeinu.
There is no Moshe here.
What do you mean there's no? He spoke to Moshe Rabbeinu through the two Keruvim.
After Moshe, after we had
The Mishkan.
Mishkan.
Yeah. But that was right after Matan Torah.
No, but what about when we made Beit HaMikdash?
No.
There were Keruvim.
Yeah.
And there is a Kohen talking.
But there was still a Moshe Rabbeinu. Every generation had a Moshe Rabbeinu.